Dope, 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 let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick, I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers.
We went back to Naruto, who was still standing while looking at his hands. Ichigo walks over to him. How did you obtain this power? Naruto then turns to him, looking him dead in his eyes. You want to protect your friends, don't you, Ichigo? What? This question caught him off guard. You want the power to save them, do you not? There's only one way to do so. You have to master everything that was ever passed down to you. Ichigo steps back for a moment, looking at Naruto, but then remembering how fierce the power that he used was. As he thinks about how strong the Espada are and his current strength in comparison, he knew what he had to do. Okay, Naruto, I'm in. Naruto then holds his shoulder as the two would vanish, and the next day, they walk into the abandoned compartment to greet Shinji and the rest of the visored group. Shinji would then begin their training, but Naruto himself steps in. Ichigo, make sure you don't resist this part. He nods as he's then put under a genjutsu. What the hell? Ichigo, help me. He turns his head to see Orihime about to be killed by the Espada that defeated him before. He feels powerless once again. No, Orihime. This is when Ichigo's inner hollow begins to talk to him. And this is when he awakened in his hollowed state. He screams out a monstrous roar as his mask then appeared. Naruto smiles, telling the rest of them to get back as he would transform as well. And the barriers put around the two of them. Ichigo then jumps, swinging his blade, but is blocked by Naruto's tail. He then uses another tail to slash at Ichigo's chest, but he flips away. Don't run now, Ichigo. Face me head on. Days go by of Naruto and Ichigo being gone, and one day, Orihime interrupts their training. At the same time, Uryu was still training with his father, and Chad as well as Renji were training with Urahara. Toshiro and his vice captain then receive a call from Captain Yamamoto, who then tells them Aizen's true objective. But he also decides to ask where Naruto was at this time, as he hasn't contacted the Soul Society in days. Toshiro then relays the information that Naruto seems to have gone missing. He knows that he's in the city, but he doesn't know where. And the only thing that's known about him is the last thing that Rukia had told him. Rukia stated that Naruto was able to kill almost 2 of the Espada, but as of now, it seems he's taken the liberty of training Ichigo Kurosaki so that he'll be able to do the same and be able to fight against Aizen alongside Naruto. Yamamoto understands this, as he then just says he'll wait until Naruto contacts him. Weeks go by until one of the Espada comes back into the human world, but the captains and lieutenant are ready for them. The battle begins, and Toshiro yells out, wondering where Naruto was at this moment. As he continues to fight against one of the Espada, Naruto arrives. Quit complaining, Captain Toshiro. You know I couldn't miss a battle like this. Grimmjow then sees Naruto rushing in, but he's slammed back to the ground by Ichigo. Hey Naruto, I'll handle him. That's fine with me. Just take him seriously and take him down. Ichigo nods as he rushes back down at Grimmjow. The woman who was there releases her own Zanpakuto, or Shikai, that creates 8 arms. She launches them towards Toshiro, who wasn't ready, but all of them are deflected by Naruto, who uses incredible speed. 8 arms, huh? Yes, impressive, isn't it? 8 is a nice number, but you know what's better? She looks on in confusion until she realizes that this is the guy that Aizen was warning them about. Naruto transforms, releasing the 9 visored tails along with the mask. She scoffs, and she sends the 8 extensions back at Naruto, but he flash jumps behind her, and as she looks down to her side, she sees that she's been completely cut open, and she was leaking a lot of blood. She then tried again, but Naruto used all the tails to block each one of her attacks, and then appeared in front of her, slamming his fist into her face that sent her higher into the sky. What the hell is he? He's stronger, and not only that, faster than me. She looks down at Naruto, who does some strange hand signs, as 5 other versions of himself then appear. All of them rush in at the woman, completely demolishing her in this battle. Naruto was so far ahead in strength that his punches and strikes eventually caused her Shikai to go back into its dormant state. Naruto looked over at Ichigo to see that his battle was going, well, good as well. So he focused on his weakened opponent. She coughs up blood while lying on the ground looking up at Naruto. Don't tell me you're soft like those other Soul Reapers and you're gonna spare me. Naruto looks down and performs a 9-tailed Zero Blast. This creates a huge explosion. The effect was shockwaves, and a crater was left as a result. Naruto jumps back into the air and sees that Ichigo's mask was now broken. Before Grimmjow could get the upper hand in this battle, Naruto blocked his blade with his hand. Damn it! Not you again. Great work, Ichigo, but you're not quite there yet. Naruto releases his visor transformation and yells out, Kuroi Kitsune! Grimmjow then jumps back, looking at the scythe as it appears. What the hell is that? As he stares at the black and blue weapon, he gets a bad feeling. Far away from this battle, Orihime was being captured by force and could do nothing about it. Before Naruto could step in to continue the fight, some weird kid walked up behind Grimmjow. Hey, what the hell are you doing? This is my battle. Well, it looks like you're losing. Have you seen a pretty dragonfly anywhere? No, I haven't, so stay out of my way, brat. As Grimmjow says this, the blade was then used to cut across his chest, and so was a kid. Ichigo's jaw dropped once he realized what had happened. Rukia then arrives and asks what was going on, as she then saw Ichigo just sitting there watching. He's on a completely different level than all of us. Rukia wondered what he was talking about, until she then felt it. This extraordinary spiritual pressure. As she then looked over to see the Espada on the ground while bleeding out, while Naruto stood there over him with only dirt on his clothes. As Naruto was about to finish him off, his blade was then blocked by the blade of Ulquiorra Cypher, one of the Espada. The two go back and forth, clashing blades as equals, before this new Espada jumps back, looking at Grimmjow and the other defeated Espada, or a Rancor. The mission has been completed. We're extracting now. A beam of light then shines down on all the remaining Espada as they're transported back to Hueco Mundo. Naruto tries to cut down the Espada in front of him, but he isn't able to, and he's angered by this. After calming himself down, he then looks back at Ichigo, who had some injuries, as he creates some clones that go to heal all the Soul Reapers in the area. The next day, Ichigo and Naruto are brought back together by Captain Toshiro, who has something very important to tell them. This is where the two of them learn about Orihime and her supposed betrayal. But both of them know what they need to do. At night, Ichigo arrives to Urahara's shop. "It's about damn time you made it here." Naruto looks at Ichigo with a very serious expression. "You want to save her, don't you?" "Yeah, more than anything. So let's go." "Good, because we don't have any time to waste." They go down into the basement where Chad and Uryu reveal themselves. Urahara would also reveal himself. "Now that all of us are here, we need to go. Do you all understand the plan?" "Yeah, of course. Save Orihime." "Yeah, that's part of it. But take down as many hollows, a rain car, or a espada as you can." Naruto then looks at his uncle. "I'm going to take down everyone in Hueco Mundo." Ichigo then looks at him. "What are you talking about? Are you crazy?" "I'm not. As of now, I feel like I can take down Aizen himself. I'm confident in my power." Now we go to Hueco Mundo. As Aizen was showing off the powers of Orihime to the rest of the Espada, they all felt a new spiritual pressure. Within the halls, Ichigo, Chad, Uryu, well, they kept running as they felt something behind them. This is when they saw a rain car chasing them down, but they also saw Naruto, who jumped at it and with one swing, cut it down. He lands back on the ground and looks at them. "Let's keep moving." They nod and make it to a larger room where another enemy, or a couple enemies, were waiting. Naruto cuts them down before the group could do anything. The three then look at Naruto, and Ichigo thinks that his strength seems to have no limit as he's stronger than before. We then see the Espada sitting at a table. Aizen looks over at Tozen, who displays the intruders. Just as planned, the rest of the Espada begin to talk down on the group until Aizen interrupts the chatter. "Don't take them lightly, especially that of Naruto Uzumaki. His strength has even been recognized by the old man at the Soul Society. And I think as of now, he could rival all of the Espada. If only he were truly on our side." All of them are shocked hearing this and don't believe Aizen at first. "Why don't you tell him how you were defeated twice by Naruto, when he wasn't even at his fullest strength?" They turn to Grimmjow as that's who Aizen was looking at. He then scoffs, getting up and walking away. Aizen then demands that he sits back down and glares at him. Without thought, he falls to his knees. The group then makes it to the outside of the building, where they will meet Nell and the other Rancor. As they sat and talked, another large hollow would appear, but it's frozen before it could do anything. They then turn to see Rukia and Renji. The two walk over. As Rukia hits Ichigo, Renji punches Naruto. "You two really are idiots not asking for our help before leaving." Naruto walks back over to the wall smiling. "Well, since we have everyone here, I don't think we should waste any more time." Naruto's chakra begins to appear, and it's visible. Rukia, Renji, and Ichigo. No, all of them are confused as this is something that isn't Ryatsu, and this isn't spiritual energy. It's something entirely different, but it's very similar. Naruto then punches down the wall, creating a huge hole for them to go in. Everyone then runs down the hall, and they would stop as they see a bunch of different paths to choose from. Naruto looks forward and smiles, creating clones that go down each path with one of them. This way, he can help them out if their opponents are too strong. Naruto then goes down one path completely alone, with no exposures to his stance at all, as he was ready for anything. This is when a Paivaran Espada, these were Espada with 3-digit numbers who've been demoted by their rank, would appear. Naruto looks up seeing the person standing in front of him, and he scoffs. This caused the Pyron Espada to speak up. "What's that look for? Don't tell me you've given up already." This Rancor blitzes Naruto and cuts his body in multiple places before standing behind him once again. "Not so tough now. Well, at least you've served as a warm-up for me before I go kill the others." This Rancor turns around to see Naruto standing there with only his clothes being cut. "Wait, don't tell me I'm not strong enough to cut through your spiritual energy." Naruto then speaks with a demanding voice. "Hey." Just this one word alone causes the Rancor to jump in fear as he gets goosebumps. Naruto then stares at him with a menacing gaze. "What was that you said before? It was something about me giving up earlier. You know, you're kind of wrong. Actually, it's the opposite. Since I'm so close to my very goal, I'm more excited than ever." Naruto begins to raise his spiritual energy, causing everyone in the building to feel this pressure. The former Espada in front of Naruto, they began to feel the true terror of facing someone to his caliber, as he then vanished. For someone who was once an Espada, I expected more from you. Naruto then sheathes his blade, as blood shoots out from the chest of his opponent, causing him to fall to the ground. "Now then, Aizen, when will you fall to this blade as well?" As Ichigo and the others begin their own individual battle, the Naruto clones help them out to the best of their ability, which helps their battles go way better than they originally did. By this time, Ichigo was fighting against Ilquiora, and he was losing. He had already used all his special moves as well as his transformation. As the dust settles, revealing the Espada to still be fine, Naruto's clone looks at Ichigo and then vanishes. Nell begins to panic, but Ichigo smiles. "Ichigo, why are you smiling? This is super bad." "No, Nell. This means this fight's about to go in our favor." From the ceiling, Naruto bursts down to the floor that Ichigo was on. "What the hell are you doing sitting down like that? We have a battle to win, and you have a friend to save. We fight until we die, but we won't die here, as long as we fight together, Ichigo." "Yeah, you're right. I think it's time I start getting serious myself." Ichigo stands back up as both of them then rush at the Espada. Ilquiora dodges the blade of Ichigo since it's weaker, but then he's forced to block the blade of Naruto. This gives Ichigo the perfect opening to finally land a direct hit on him. This attack from Ichigo barely draws any blood from their opponent, but before he could do anything, Naruto kicked him back. Ilquiora recovered quickly, and he went for Ichigo since he was the weaker of the pair. Naruto predicted this and pushed Ichigo out of the way, causing injury to be inflicted on his body. Ilquiora jumps back and pulls out his blade and calls Naruto weak for this action, but he watches on curiously as the wound closes up. What kind of ability was that? It's similar to Orihime's. "Sorry to disappoint you, but my ability isn't nearly as good as her own. However, it still gets the job done, so who can really complain?" Ilquiora tries to go for Ichigo again, but Naruto defends his friend, taking heavier damage than the last time. Ichigo regains some of his stamina during this time, allowing him to use his Bankai once again and jump back into the battle. As the fight was about to continue, someone else then kicks in the wall, bursting into the room. Grimjaw was here as well. Ilquiora then turns to him. "What are you doing here? It looks like you need a little help, and I've been waiting to get my hands on these Soul Reapers, so our goals will align perfectly here." Naruto then speaks up. How did you get your arm back? Oh, this? I made that dumb girl do it for me. Naruto then talks slower so only Ichigo can hear him. You know what that means, right? Yeah, she's safe for now. We have to get through them to reach her. That's fine. Ichigo, you take Grimmjow. Right. Both of them then jumps forward towards the Espada, who ready themselves for this battle. Naruto swings his katana, at Ilquiorra, who catches it easily. Stop playing around, Naruto Uzumaki. There's no way you can defeat me like this. A Naruto clone then lands a giant Rasengan, sending him flying. Ilquiorra gets up through the rubble, disappointed himself because of how he was caught off guard. A Rasen Shuriken is then seen flying at him and he dodges it, but a huge explosion then shakes the entire room. Ilquiorra had no idea what these abilities were, as they were not in the report. Naruto knew this, and was using everything that he learned as a shinobi against his opponent. A giant steel shuriken then goes by the face of Ilquiorra, who still can't see Naruto. The weapon then turns into Naruto, who swings his blade, cutting his back wide open. Angered by this, Ilquiorra turns, grabbing Naruto by the throat and slamming him down into the ground. Naruto then sticks out his tongue, poofing in the smoke, revealing that he was a clone. Ilquiorra's eyes widened, realizing what this meant as well, as a huge crash will be heard in their direction, as Naruto flips away, realizing his opponent is stronger than he was before. We see Ilquiorra in his black-winged form, staring down at Naruto. Well, I guess I have to increase my own power to keep up with you then. Ilquiorra vanished and appeared behind Naruto, stabbing him through his chest, but a log would be left in his place. Naruto quickly releases his Shikai to continue this fight. Ilquiorra in this state was ahead of Naruto in every category, as he was pushing the young Soul Reaper back and forcing him into the defensive. Throughout the entire exchange of strikes, all Ilquiorra could think about was the fact that Naruto was smiling. He was smirking, enjoying losing. He was toying with him. Could he really be so far ahead of him that he's allowing himself to have fun in this battle? As the two go back and forth landing critical strikes to one another, Ilquiorra notices that Naruto's movements have now become sharper than before. He's adapting to the speed with ease. His speed, it shouldn't be increasing that easily. No, that's not it. Ilquiorra finally figures out that he's just beginning to move slower. As he realizes this, his arm was cut off by a huge wave of Ryatsu from Naruto. He regrows this arm and decides that Naruto is not only a threat to all of the Espada, but to Aizen himself if he can toy with him this much. Ilquiorra releases the second stage of his resurrection, and this spiritual pressure even shakes Ichigo and Grimmjow to their core. Naruto sighs and decides to show off a power that he hadn't got to use yet in combat to its fullest potential. But this could be the fight. Bankai Kitsune no Kami. A blinding light sparks the area where Naruto is standing, and it's revealed, his new form is. A crown of flames swirled around his head with grace. His white hair, with orange reddish tips, flowed through the wind, and his yellow eyes pierced the soul of Ilquiorra even in his second stage of resurrection. This is where he also noticed the Zanpakuto of Naruto had reverted to a katana-like state, but it was also similar to the Bankai of Ichigo Kurosaki in the way that it looked. What is this power? Could he have been hiding this the entire time? This feeling, it's so similar to... Before he could finish his thought, Naruto now stood next to him. You've realized it, haven't you? this power that I'm using right now, it'll be used to defeat Aizen, which means you don't stand a chance. Ilqua Aura is then grabbed by Naruto and flown to the roof. From this point, Naruto stands on the edge and holds his blade to the sky, creating a ball of flames. Ilqua Aura prepares himself for this large attack, but it breaks and the sparks fall down below. All the Soul Reapers who were within the area, who were fighting to their heart's content until their final breath, were healed, as well as their spiritual energy getting stronger than before. Ilqua Aura demands to know what Naruto has just done, but his arm is then ripped off in the blink of an eye as he couldn't see it. He tries to regrow the arm, but he's unable to, as he then looks down to see the flames where his arms just were. Those flames will not go out no matter what you do. Naruto then cuts off his other arm with his katana, and after that, he stabs it into his chest. It's all over now. Judgment flames. Flames then appear around his body that shoot into the sky and burn him to nothing but ash. Naruto looks down and falls to one knee as his hair then reverts to its original color. He begins breathing heavily, but he seems to be okay. Looks like I won't be able to fight like that for a while till my energy's restored. I wonder how everyone else is doing right now. We go down to see a hollified Ichigo defeating Grimmjow in his resurrection form. The only thing that stops him from continuing his destruction was Orihime, who arrived to the battlefield. Naruto makes it here as well, as he congratulates Ichigo for winning his battle. Looks like it was easier than we thought, but Aizen isn't here anymore. As they all sat there, Nell arrived as well. Naruto would stand back up after a couple of minutes and told Ichigo to get ready as well. Orihime didn't even heal either of them, but more Espada and a Rancor would arrive. Both Ichigo and Naruto did their best, but they were completely exhausted at this point, and their movements were incredibly slow. The two were being tortured, which eventually caused Nell to awaken her true form. She's able to hold off the Espada, but her real form then went away as she reverted to a child. A strange creature then appeared and grabbed both Naruto and Ichigo by their heads. Luckily, they'd be saved by Captain Kenpachi, who arrived just in time. You two slackers need to get off your ass and fight until your final breath is drawn. Naruto barely manages to stand back up while hearing this, and, with a swing of his blade, cuts off the arm of the creature. That's more like it. After all, you're in the first division. Kenpachi then finishes off the creature before moving on to the Espada who was waiting. While this battle was beginning, the other captains arrived as well to help in the other battles that were still going on. Naruto takes down the Rancor that was holding Orihime hostage, as this gives her time to heal both Naruto and Ichigo back to their full strength. Within the human world, the rest of the captains appeared in the town to defeat Aizen. Yamamoto himself knew that they needed Ichigo and Naruto if they truly wanted to defeat this threat. During the battle, the Visor group decides to help out as well. Shinji tells them to mobilize, but Hayori sits there angrily. I thought you said Naruto would be here. I don't sense him at all. This is not the time for that. Yeah, I guess. But if he doesn't come, I'm gonna kill you and him. Back in Hueco Mundo, Naruto and Ichigo jumped into the battle against Espada Zero. Ichigo tells Naruto to stay back for a moment and let him handle it since his strength has returned, and Naruto complies. He grabs Rukia out of the way and jumps back to somewhere safe. She then decides to ask him what that spiritual pressure was that she felt not too long ago. Naruto then explains that the first time was his own while he was in his Bankai form, but the second time was Ichigo. using the true power as a hollow. They look back at the fight to see Ichigo completely dominating this battle with his mask until it went away and he was caught by his opponent. Before Naruto jumped back in, Kenpachi and Byakuya cut off the arms of this Espada. Let us handle him now. The rest of the captains then arrived, making a portal back to the human world for the two of them, as they would go through alongside Captain Unohana. As they travel, she explains the conditions for Aizen's Shikai abilities and how they're the only two that can defeat him. Aizen was taken down, those he had defeated, when Ichigo arrived trying to cut him down. Ichigo misses the first strike, but he smirks, as Aizen then speaks. Oh, that's right. You're not the only one here. How have you been, Naruto? Aizen turns around shocked to not see Naruto either, as he raised his blade to block. He then looks back over at Ichigo, who throws his blade towards him. What a cheap move. That won't work. Aizen dodges, but the blade turns into Naruto, who cuts him across the cheek. Oh, you actually managed to draw blood. An impressive attack. This is when the captains appear and jump in the battle, but they're tricked by Aizen's abilities and defeated. Captain Yamamoto appears as well, as he begins his own fight against Aizen. However, this is when the ace against his flames is revealed, as he has to take on that battle. As Aizen looks down, Ichigo swings his blade, but he looks towards the sky to see Naruto swinging it as well. Aizen manages to stop both their attacks as he begins talking. You both have done so well to walk on the road that I've paved for you. I'm assuming you defeated Ilquaora, right, Naruto? And you, Ichigo, you defeated Grimmjow, if I'm not mistaken. What the hell are you talking about? It's so simple. I've planned everything that has ever happened to the two of you. I expected you to become this strong because I know it wouldn't rival my own power. Naruto and Ichigo both rush in, but each of their attacks can do nothing to Aizen, who continues to talk. Can you tell? Each moment in your life, it felt hard, yet it came natural to you. You developed quickly because the things in front of you were constantly thrown your way. After all, you two. A loud crash then happens before Aizen could finish his sentence. It's revealed to be Ichigo's father. Aizen and Ichigo's father then begins their own battle, while Ichigo begins to fight Jin. Naruto decides to jump away and prepare a jutsu while he does have the time. Ichigo was holding his own against his opponent, but was still being pushed back to some degree. He was then sent flying and landed right next to his father, who was fighting as well. Aizen began to further his power until Urahara arrived, shooting him through the chest. Ichigo was then caught off guard, but Naruto blocked the attack for him. Sorry I'm a little late, but I had to make sure that this was ready. I couldn't mess up on this jutsu. What are you talking about? Aizen was now surrounded by Urahara, Yoriichi, and Isshin. If you truly think the three of you can defeat me, you're mistaken. A mysterious voice then calls out. Maybe not 3, but 4 should do it. A kunai then lands next to the foot of Urahara, and Minato appears. Hey there, it's been a while, Aizen. Minato Namikaze. How are you here? Isn't it obvious? I was revived just for this battle, by my son. Aizen's eyes then widen as he looks over at Gin, who's being killed by Naruto and Ichigo. He's pretty impressive, isn't he? He reminds me of myself when I was younger. The fight continued, and even this seasoned group wasn't enough to stop Aizen at his current power. He opens a portal to the real Karakura town and leaves them there. Isshin and Minato get their sons together and open their own portal. Once inside Dangai, Isshin stops them. This is the perfect opportunity for us to increase their power, don't you think, Minato? Minato nods and turns to his son as he begins to explain. As of now, you only have half of the 9 tails within your body. I have the other hollowified half. For you to fight equally against Aizen, or maybe even above, you'll need its full strength. After it's sealed inside of Naruto, he falls unconscious. Ichigo sees this and asks what happened, but Minato explains that Naruto has to find a way to control the power before it consumes him. This is when Naruto awakens within the domain of the 9 tails. He pulls out his blade, gripping it tight as he stares down the beast in front of him. In Karakura town, Aizen confronted Ichigo's friends. As he was about to continue towards them, he sees Ichigo and Naruto there. He sees that Ishin was passed out and that Minato wasn't there. Ichigo then speaks up. Aizen, let's fight somewhere else. You shouldn't ask me that without having the power to. Aizen is then cut off by Ichigo, grabbing his face and taking him far away from the town. As he's then thrown to the ground, he stands back up quickly. I wasn't asking you. I was telling you, Aizen. Naruto makes it there as well, using the flying Raijin seal that was placed on Ichigo. You two seem to be weaker than before, as I can't sense your spiritual energy. That's to be expected, as I've gained a higher power since the last time that we've battled. Naruto looks at Ichigo as they both give off a slight smirk. Aizen appears next to them and swings his blade. Both of them dodge easily as the mountain behind them is cut in half. Not bad, but that won't be enough, you two. Naruto then enters his visor transformation, but this time it was different. It was more developed. The hollowification would also spread to his hands and feet as it appeared as claws. Naruto then vanished and swung his claws at Aizen, who just barely blocked, as he then cut across his chest by the blade of Ichigo, who now stood behind him. As soon as he took his eyes off Naruto for just a second, one of the tails then pierced his arm before another shot a Sero blast, sending him flying. While he flew through the air, Ichigo appeared again, cutting him with the Getsuga Tensho. Aizen then tries to put, them in a black coffin, but Naruto breaks through it with brute force alone. Ichigo then cuts his chest open, causing blood to come out this time. Aizen fully transforms and begins to outspeed both Naruto and Ichigo, hitting them both with powerful attacks. After he grabs them by the throat and slams them to the ground, he then holds them up into the sky. Naruto's hollow mask will be broken, but he's seen to be smiling. Ichigo then speaks for them. If this is all you got, it won't be enough to kill either of us. Naruto and Ichigo jump back, causing Aizen to release his grip, as Naruto then enters Bankai, Kuroi Kitsune, while Ichigo releases all of his power as well. It's as if these two were the sides of the same coin. Ichigo's long black hair and dark aura complemented the bright white hair and aura of Naruto. Hey Ichigo, let's finally take this guy down. You got it. Aizen was angered by the fact that both of them now seemed stronger than him. Ichigo would then prepare the final Getsuga Tensho, and Naruto uses his judgment flames that now appear white. As he throws his sword at Aizen, who didn't have time to react, it lands in his chest. As both of them then launch their attacks, Aizen is hit directly. Ichigo's Soul Reaper powers then begin to fade away, as then Urahara appears to help finally seal Aizen away, as the battle was now over.